is your professor, Adeolu Sanyolu. I'm your professor for COMP10019, and today we're going to be talking about the module 2 that you guys are supposed to have started by now. Congratulations, you guys made it past the module 1. You guys have done your mid test 1, and I've spent time, going over it, marking it, where there are areas where you were not graded properly. Maybe you put 1 and stuff like that. I've gone back and I've adjusted it, I've marked it. So you might some of you might see your mark come up a bit and stuff like that. So now that we have, we're in module 2, there are a lot of exciting things that are happening in module 2 that you guys will be covering and stuff like that. So this includes talking about the media types, when we're talking about cables, what are the type of cables that you have to use, what are the connection types. So we're talking about the STP, shielded twisted pair, untwisted pair, which is the UTP, the armored cable type, the BNC as well, which are more like the coaxial cable terminator and stuff like that. So you have different kind of terminators for all these cable types, which include the RJ45, RJ11, and for those that are wondering what RJ is basically register jack, which is used as a standard, to know which one is. So we talk about RJ45, RJ11, and the jack, the plug. Sometimes we call it the female, and sometimes we call it the male, and stuff like that. Now, when we move from cables, we can now move into the fiber cabling, which you guys must have gone through in your classes when you're going through them. And those cables, different types of them. We have single modes, those ones can cover long distance. We have multi mode fiber, then we have different connector types for all these, maybe OC3, FC, different standards that you guys are going to see. The connectors are, LC, SC, ST, MT-RJ, depending on what you guys want to connect with, is the type of media connection you're going to have. In addition to that, there are transceiver as well, which you can get different transceiver. Some transceiver can connect you to a physical, let's say, cable, like copper cable, and you can use your RJ45 through those media, the transceiver. Likewise, also you can use your fiber with those transceivers as well. Few of the transceivers you're going to see now is you can see 1 gigabit transceivers, GLT, GLC, and you can see SFP. You see SFP plus, which basically can take like 25 gig standard. You can have a SFP 28, which can is a variation of it as well, 25. And then we now have like the QSFP. Basically, what QSFP does is it's the same 10 gig, but it comes in quad. So basically, it gives you like 4 streams of the SFP itself. So you can have 4 of them streaming, and that will give you like 40 gig of data. And then now there's the SFP28 at the quad, QSFP28. That, of course, can take you to 100 gig. So these are evolving a lot nowadays, and you guys will be wondering, very soon we might be having terabyte and stuff like that. And you know what, the way we are going now, it can happen quick enough, because I remember the days of 1 megabit, 2 megabit, 516K and things like that. So having talked about that, then we now move into like cable management, okay, in module 2. We talk about cable management, which is basically how do you manage cables within office space, data center space, and stuff like that. And then that's when we start talking about cable structure, cable structure, in which is how we lay our cables and stuff like that to the wall, and all those. And it comes with different components for that, which is your termination jacks, resistor jack, the cable types, because there are different types of cable types, which includes from Cat 3, which is basically telephone, Cat 5, Cat 6, Cat 7, Cat 8, and goes like that. And the bigger this is, the bandwidth and stuff like that, the shorter the distance and stuff. But with technology, that keep going, and you can always see that in the standard there, right? Part of the component includes for the cabling, the cable plant, which is data center. You have your racks, you have your patch panels, you have your what's it called, the patch cord, you have the jumper cables, and basically in office places that every cable come back through the structured office cabling, those are part of cable management that we have, and when all this comes in, it comes in a different way, which we can now categorize as a horizontal cable, vertical cable. These are the entrance, this is the telco, this is the DMAC and stuff like that. Now we can now move into network enterprise architecture. And here we're going to be talking about the devices itself that is actually used to connect from all your cablings to the endpoint, to the DMAC and stuff like that. And this will include the access layer switches, which is the entrance for all the desktop. So those are the switches. We call them the access layer because that's where you actually access and come in. Those will include the access point as well, AP, which is an access point to the network. Then we have the distribution layer, which is basically in between to distribute. That's another layer. Then we have the core layer, which is the next level to that. Then on top we have the aggregation switches. But you might be seeing the concept of the three hierarchical three layers of design, which is the core, the distribution, and then the access layer. Most of this design we do them bearing in mind a single point of failure. So you might be seeing areas where we have double connection here in case the north side fails, then the south side can pick up and things like that. And those three layers of the network, typically you'll find them in more of the bigger enterprise environment. But when you have maybe small company, then those three layers are typically collapsed into what we call the collapse core, in which we now have two layers rather than three. When we say two layers, basically means we have the access area, and then the core and the distribution are typically collapsed into one, and that makes it two layer environment. Okay, and with this, I'm going to talk about the spine, which is where we have the switches, and then we have the leaves below, and we have all those V connection in case we lose the north side. We have the south side and stuff like that. So by now, you guys should be ready to write your midterm 2, which includes and comprises everything about the module 2. And I'm sure you guys are going to be able to do that because you have all the materials, and I'm going to congratulate you because you're going to be doing that soon, and I wish you best of luck. Have a nice day. Once again, this is your professor Adeolu, so you COMP10019.